Who the heck is Kristi Arbuckle and what is she doing on this show?
Kristi is amazing. That's why she's here.
Right? That's what I said. I'm like, this is just part one of a trilogy.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another edition of the Pear Genius podcast. We got Kati in the house. We have Kristi Arbuckle in the house. But before you say hi to her, everybody, we have to ask you to subscribe and share the show with everybody so that we can go viral. Can you do that for us, Kristi? Can you share with everybody?
I will definitely be sharing with everyone I know.
Because we got to get this thing out to as many people as possible.
Yeah, because people were like, wait a minute, you can't come curling tonight because you're on a podcast? This is the coolest thing that's happened ever.
Curling? You must be from Manitoba.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing in Gillam. Curling in Gillam is serious business.
Oh my God, are you in Gillam?
Did you not know that I moved to Gillam?
I had no idea.
Yeah, I moved here 2 years ago next week, actually.
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
And all we did was try and get out of Gillam, and you're moving to Gillam. That's your retirement plan, is to retire in Gillam and live there forever as a popsicle.
No, come on.
No, not after the retirement part. It'll be like retire somewhere else. Yeah.
Nice. Well, for all those who don't know where Gillam is, it is way north in Manitoba, pretty much almost polar bear country.
Almost, yes. As far as you can drive to polar bear country, basically.
Nice. Who the heck is Kristi Arbuckle, and what is she doing on this show?
Kristi is amazing. That's why she's here.
Right? That's what I said. I'm like, this is just part one of a trilogy.
Yeah.
So you've never done a podcast before?
I have never done a podcast.
Well, you're in good hands. Don't worry.
Or one with the video. So I feel like that's like a higher level of the casting.
That's all we do. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen our old school videos from us being in the garage and basically not having anything. We just started. Yep. We were just crawling, and now we're just, every time we release an episode, we're just like bumping it up one notch here and there.
And like the original OG ones where you were like teaching people how to do electronic things.
Oh, yes. Oh, we go way back.
Yeah, way back. We don't need to admit just how far that is.
Well, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just give us a quick rundown, and then I'm going to start asking you the hard questions.
Oh, God. My little mini nutshell bio.
Yeah.
I am oh God, where do I even start?
Right. You're a very interesting person.
I have a lot of irons and fires. I am a Manitoba Hydro employee that lives in northern Manitoba, which is a company town. So mostly all that's here is generating and converter stations. We make all the energies. I met Alex because I was working with him. He used to order me parts when I lived and worked in Winnipeg. And then from there, we got along like peas and carrots. And then he brought me into the fold of the coolness with Kati and the kids and the motorcycles. And yeah, so we've been hanging out and in each other's worlds for quite a while.
And you're coming this summer.
I am coming to the Calgary this summer, August.
Kati wants you to come on the motorcycle, though.
I think I am, actually.
Okay.
Going to Winnipeg in March, and I'm having some clutch issues, so I'm going to try it out and make sure that I can get it repaired before I have to come to Calgary so that it all works.
Oh yeah, you don't want any, that's a long journey.
Well, half as long as the last time I was there on the motorcycle, so
yeah. Because last time you went, did you go all the way to Victoria?
I went to just outside Vancouver and then hopped in a truck with my cousin and we went across to the island for the weekend.
Very cool. It's something else to take a motorcycle through the mountains, and
that was a learning experience.
It's beautiful. Even the prairies, after a while, I don't think the prairies are as boring as people make it seem to be. It's actually pretty beautiful.
It is nice. Like, I always thought Saskatchewan was supposed to be the boring spot, and then I drove it and I was like, wow, Manitoba is the dull one.
Right? Manitoba is boring.
Past Brandon, and it was nice.
And then you see African pronghorns that should be in the savannah, but they're here in Alberta for some reason. It's totally weird.
Like, how did that work?
Somebody brought them over.
Must have.
Yeah.
They let loose somebody's zoo gate or something. I don't know.
So, Kati, what do you think of Kristi Arbuckle?
You know what's funny is that whenever I think of Kristi, I think about the kids, because even today I told Alora that we were podcasting with you. She's, I love her. I'm like, right? You have this energy that's lasting. Like it leaves an imprint with the people that you come into contact with because they were very little when they met you and they
Yeah.
still remember your energy and they love it.
You know what? I was talking to a friend recently because it was another girl that I'm close friends with that I met because I worked with her husband. And I said, I don't even remember how we became friends. And she said, I don't really either. I just remember my husband coming home and telling me that I would really like you because you had a great laugh and you were like a live action cartoon. And I went, oh my God, that's probably the greatest description of me I've ever heard.
And very accurate. You are totally like a live action cartoon. Like you just bring joy with you wherever you go.
I try not to be a bummer because nobody wants to hang out with somebody that's a bummer, right?
I actually think that the beauty of this is I'm actually setting you up for the next. You're probably going to retire from Manitoba Hydro after this and start your own show and become famous and a millionaire and for sharing your awesomeness with the world. So you're welcome, everyone. It's because of me.
Yeah. I would love to try to get into like cartoon voiceovers, but I don't know how the heck that would work. But that could be like secondary career somewhere.
I would ask ChatGPT.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It knows everything.
Yeah. Who do I talk to? Who should I phone? ChatGPT will give you the phone number and the person. It's,
Yeah.
oh, hey, ChatGPT told me to call you.
Yeah,
Boom,
I need
you're
some
in.
contact deets. I need to get into this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to be a voice actor too. I don't want to like work hard anymore. I want to work smart. I want to do fun things. I want to be a voice for a video game character, like the greatest video game character ever.
I want action figures made of the characters that I voiced because I think that would be cool.
Yes.
Not just voodoo dolls. I want actual action figures.
It'd be cool to have you as a thing with a pull string.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
don't pull on that.
There's a snake in my boot. Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, so I want to throw you right in the fire and ask you to share a mind-blowing moment of your life because I know that there's a lot, but share something that's going to wow us all because you have a lot.
There's so many things. Holy crap, man. Way to put me on the spot.
What's the most mind-blowing thing that ever happened to you in your 30s? We'll narrow it down. I'll make it easier for you.
I want to cheat and just say like meeting you guys, but I feel like that's pop out. I don't even know. There's been so many cool things that it's so hard to tell. I feel like at some point in time, I realized like, oh Lord, I'm an actual adult. I can go do whatever I want because I make adult money now and nobody controls that. So like at 35, I was like, nope, I'm going to go get my motorcycle license. So I went and did it. And I was like, well, that was easy. Now what do we do? So then started to do some writing and stuff. And then I was like, I want to do something big. So that was 2019, the year I came out to visit you guys in Calgary when I did the solo motorcycle trip across from Manitoba to Vancouver by myself.
That is pretty mind-blowing. I don't know if anybody can really appreciate that, but to be by yourself on a motorcycle and completely rely on yourself for, that's probably at least a 30-hour drive there and back, at least.
Yeah, like I had never ridden outside of Manitoba. I've ridden by myself, puttering around, whatever. That was normal driving to work, but I've never gone any long distance on my own, even in my truck, really. So it was like, nope, to hell with it. I'm doing it. People are like, are you nuts? What are you doing? And I was like, I'm tired of waiting for someone else so I can live my life. So I'm not going to bother waiting for another person's schedule to line up with mine. I want to go and do it, and I'm going and doing it.
Great. That's a great lesson. And that's probably one of my lessons too, is don't wait for somebody else to make it happen. It's my job to make it happen.
And I think I was gone 13 or 14 days, and only 4 of those nights I spent in a hotel because I was with family or friends along the way. So like all kinds of people to go and visit. And of course, my dad had my iPhone find my whatever password so he could track me when I got into cell signal. He knew if I was speeding because of where I was and when, because he was tracking me that way. But that was a little safeguard, whatever. So he knew that I was safe and I was moving.
I don't know if you remember this, but one of the crazy things when you stayed with us, I took you around some pretty cool rides, and we got your feet wet in the curves and doing some fun riding. But do you remember? Did we go with Kristi to Jasper and back?
Yep.
You were with us on that.
Yep.
That's one of the craziest things I've done on the motorcycle. We'll just go for a drive to Lake Louise. And then all of a sudden, let's go to Jasper. Next thing you know, it's 1:00 in the morning and we're riding We spent the entire day riding.
Yeah.
That was
Icefields
huge.
Parkway and the glacier and everything. Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty
It
amazing.
was
And
cool.
then,
Literally, I was freezing.
Yeah.
yes. But do you remember Kristi's lights stopped working on her motorcycle?
I don't.
The
You had to go back to
backlighting-
Calgary, right? And
Yeah. The backlighting on my speedometer and my tail lights. Like, I want to feel like my running lights, my headlight was still going, but that was it. So I had no idea how fast we were going. And of course, now it's dark, and I've just learned to do hills and curves that day. So you and whoever it was, the other couple that we ran into somewhere along the way, you guys were like, pew, gone. And I could just see these little taillights up ahead of me. And I'm like, okay, well, I know where they are, but I would slow down in the curves and then speed up in the straightaways to catch up. And then that's how I caught you. And then I almost hit the caribou thing, and I almost threw up, whatever. But yeah, so it ended up that I had to shorten a wire in my headlight or something, because I went into Calgary before I headed west again, and they found the short and fixed it for me.
I don't think I ever asked you about that story of how they fixed it and what it was, but I'm glad that they did so that you could continue on, because that's a scary journey to not have your electronics working.
Yeah, like they found that I'd blown the fuse, whatever, and they're like, okay, we fixed the fuse, you're good to go. Well, I only made it to Revelstoke before it had happened again.
Oh, really?
Actually,
Yeah, so because it's short, it's not just the fuse.
Yeah, it was actually like an arcing something in a bare wire. So yeah, I had only made it, I want to say, to Canmore, and I replaced the fuse again in a gas station parking lot. And it was like, I didn't even make it out of town, and it happened again. So I was like, okay, Google, whatever. And then found a place in Revelstoke. So I stopped there and went in the next morning, and they managed to find it and fix it for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, but what a memorable, mind-blowing adventure to do that. And I believe, I'm going to ask Kati to refresh my memory. Did we see a grizzly, or did we see caribou, or because we saw animals on the motorcycle when we were going up?
I feel like we did.
Yeah. I just remember being like in traffic, and either there was mountain goats on the road or there was grizzlies in the ditch. I just can't remember what it was.
I feel like it was a bear.
Yeah.
I know at one point I ran across some goats because I remember yelling and swearing at them that they should not be just around a corner. It scared the poop out of me. But yeah, I feel like it was bears when we were together that day.
Oh, man. Wild. See, that was a fun adventure. And we even had a crazy, to me, that was a big adventure to spend that day going back and forth. It was Google Maps did not do it justice. That's an adventure.
No, they also lied on how long that was going to take.
Boy, did they ever. That was so long.
Yeah.
Every time we tell somebody that we did that, they're like, what?
Like,
Yeah, because Google Maps says 4 hours.
And it was so much longer.
Yeah. Way more.
A few times Google has actually lied to us, but that was definitely one.
I feel like for me to do something that like that, what you did, I just could never. For me personally, that would drain all my energy, and I would be huddled on the side of the road in a ball. So it's so inspiring that you did something like that. So have there been other chapters since then where you've done kind of the same thing and just thrown yourself into this adventure?
I wouldn't say anything as extreme, but definitely I up and moved to Gillam. So
That is extreme.
That was going to happen.
No, that's extreme.
That is fairly extreme. Like, I lived 42 years. Oh, I'm going to give away how old I am now. 42 years. I lived and worked in Winnipeg, like born and raised in a capital city. And then I just went, I'm done. I'm out. And within 2 months, my entire life was done there. And I buggered off. I actually ticked some people off, I think, because I had already been up for my tour. So some people already had an inkling something was going on, but they didn't really think I was going to do it. And then there was something I saw on Facebook one day where it was like, we need to normalize the Irish goodbye. And I was like, oh, here we go. So I shared it on my page like a month before I ever left and never posted again. So some people were like, is this how you're doing it? Are you just going to disappear? And I didn't even answer back. There was just nothing. And then everything was packed. The movers had come, loaded up the truck. I was here. My first morning here, I went and got like my post office box, and I got all my stuff ready, whatever. And my buddy that had moved up a month before, he came and met me, and we went driving around a little bit, seeing it, and took some pictures in front of the Gillam sign at the airport and the train station and the whatever. And then that was my post that night. It was like, hey, I did a thing and I live here now. And that's how I announced it. People were just like, what happened? I was like, yeah, I did it.
But the thing is, people don't realize when they're in the city, they don't actually get together that often. And
No.
if you came down, let's say you come down every other month or every 3 months, you end up seeing a bunch of people. It's actually not that big of a deal.
No. Unfortunately, I don't have time to see as many people as I would like. And of course, that happens. And I've talked to a few people that have lived here, and they're just like, don't always tell people when you come back to Winnipeg because you can't see everyone. And so I tried for a bit, and I'm like, I can't. I'm run ragged. And there's things I actually have to do and focus on when I'm there. So I do what I can, and I hit like some key people. Like I always try and visit family and stuff. So I make that happen. And then I try and poke different friends groups and say, hey, what are you doing on this day? Like, I got an evening, you want to go do something? And they'll yay or nay it. And I'm like, okay, well, if you can't, we'll try again next time.
You know who your friends are when they come to see you in Gillam.
I've had one.
It's an adventure just to try and get up there. But I would actually encourage more people to go. If you're inviting them, go. Because you're like one footstep away from Churchill.
Yeah.
And people pay thousands to go see Churchill.
Oh yeah, like round trip on the train from here, I think is about $100.
Yeah,
you can't even beat that
for a once in a lifetime epic experience. Even if you went to Churchill for 2 days, it would blow your mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that this summer. That's my plan. Some friends and I from up here, we're gonna go try and hit it like end of July, early August, I think. So it was like still some belugas, maybe some polar bears moving, not too cold. So we're gonna try and hit that this year for sure.
Yeah, I think we went in August.
July or August, same thing.
Yeah.
We saw the belugas. Yeah.
Bugs weren't too bad. It was windy, but it was cold. We had to wear jackets, and it was 20 degrees, but it was like a cool breeze and lots of belugas. It was a beautiful place. Like I have nothing but good memories of going to see Churchill. So you're gonna really dig it.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to taking the train because I've only ever taken the Prairie Dog Central to Ile de Shane.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts.
Oh, it counts.
That was like
does not. Does not. I'm telling you, the Churchill train is very different. Maybe they fixed it since we were on it, but yes, your body is doing this stuff, just swaying and bumping.
30 kilometers an hour. What in the hell are we going to get there? It's like a 10-hour ride to go 300 kilometers.
Yep, that's still the same. That hasn't changed.
Yeah. No bullet train yet.
No.
So are you really in Gillam until you retire?
That's the plan. Yep.
So how long? So how long is that you're up there?
I am eligible, I think, in 11 years.
Oh my God.
That's a long time to stay up there.
That's terrifying that it's
But you do
close.
travel quite a bit for work, and I see that you're leaving, it seems often.
I do, yeah. So because I am on the executive board with our local union, we have in-person meetings in Winnipeg every third month. So I'm down there usually for that. And then with conferences and other things going on, I am down to travel wherever else it is, whether it's within Canada or sometimes into the US as well. I still average every third month, but when we throw in other things, it's every other month or sometimes twice a month, depending on what's going on. And of course, with the lack of resources and stuff up here, it's okay, well, now I have to fly down because I have a medical appointment. So then I'm there another couple days and fly back up. So
nice. Well, I have some other questions for you.
All right. Shoot. Let me have it.
One of the things I really wanted to ask you, and we have asked this question once or twice, but I think this is a great one for you. It's what have you had to unlearn in order to grow as a person?
Oh, I have to learn to shut my mouth, which you will know is very difficult. But yeah, and especially with union work, I don't want to just spurt out something rude and tell somebody how stupid they are. But sometimes it's maybe not while the HR person is still in the meeting. Like really gotta bite my tongue. And as I've progressed into more leadership roles, okay, I gotta handle things a little more tactfully at times and not just blurt out what rolls through my mind.
I love that meme where it's today the day I scream out loud, shut the fuck up to everybody in the meeting room.
It's coming. One of these days it will happen.
That'll be your retirement.
Yeah.
You're cool. Fuck you. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm done.
That's a good lesson. That's a good lesson. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
Right?
But I think that's a good wisdom nugget.
Am I getting wiser with old age?
I was going to ask Kati, because I saw her pulling a card for you. I think now is a good time for her to show you the card that she pulled.
Okay.
Oh boy. Come on. I mean, I have to put it against my body, otherwise it doesn't work. And even then it's not going to work properly. Anyways, it's the world. It's a really beautiful card. It really just signifies the completion of something major in your life. It could possibly mean world travels, whether you have them coming up in the future and you know about them, or maybe you don't. But just that you've come full circle. And it's like such a positive celebratory card. And I was so glad when I pulled it. I'm like, oh, Kristi.
See, it does make sense. In my younger days, mind you, it was quite a while ago, those days, I was quite, believe it or not, quite shy and reserved, and would be like the little wallflower at the social gathering because I didn't want to engage with people and just be like, oh, no, I'm nervous. I don't want to talk to people. People are scary and weird. And then at some point, the light bulb flicked and I was like, wow, this is boring. And if I don't actually put myself out there, I don't get invited to things and I don't get the experiences. So I flipped it. And it was like a fake it till you make it kind of thing, which maybe I shouldn't have faked it so hard. Whatever. But now it's, yeah, like you said, the kids remember me. I've had people at union conferences from 4 years ago say, I don't remember your name, but you're from Manitoba and blah, 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 and pull up random facts about something we were doing standing outside a restaurant one night or whatever it was. So it's I actually figured out I had to be the one to be a bit of a focus in order to have the life that I have.
I think it's such a superpower to be memorable for good reasons. I think it's easy to be memorable for bad reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I think it really is a gift to be memorable for those positive interactions that you have with people. That's a huge blessing.
I try. I actually just told somebody today, I was like, I have zero issues making an ass of myself in front of people. Not a concern, but it's not in a bad way. It's not like I'm dumping a beer over some guy's head at a restaurant, right? Like I'll be the one to speak up and crack the stupid joke in the training course with all of the biggie wigs. I don't have a problem with that because that's still me.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? This feels like the real you. Like this feels like you're completely in alignment with yourself, that you're completely comfortable in who you are right now. So why were you the wallflower before? Why weren't you this way right away from the beginning?
I think a bit of it, I was scared and I didn't really know how that was going to go. It's, am I revealing too much about myself or are people going to judge me maybe? So I always held back for fear of like rejection or ostracizing or whatever you want to call it. It was, I think it was more just fear. And I don't think I was comfortable with myself at that point either. So it was like, why is somebody else going to like me? I don't really like me either. So now as I've gotten older, I was just like, F-bomb, whatever. I am who I am. It ain't changing now. Take it or leave it.
So what would you love to tell your younger self?
Oh, just take the risk and do it. Live the experiences. I understand when I was younger, money was an issue. Like we didn't have the good paying job and the security with rents and whatever. So like within reason, but I do wish I had traveled more when I was younger. But at the same time, I've been single a majority of my adult life. So I didn't have the partner to go on a cruise with or things like that. And I didn't have like super close friends that we would go and do that kind of thing with. My closest friends were all married fairly young after high school and like starting families and stuff. So they didn't have income to go and travel and do that kind of thing either. Yeah, I wish I had just gone and experienced more, but I am definitely making up for it now.
Yeah, I think one of the scariest things, if I were to teleport into my 20s and not be married, I don't know if I'd be confident enough to just go on a cruise.
Yeah.
But now that you've traveled a few times, you realize that interesting people come and go into your life on the adventure. And it just, everything just works out.
And especially like with my union trips, I'm traveling alone. So through airports that I've never been to, I'm scheduling my own flights, that kind of thing. So I am figuring those out on my own. But then I know at the end, there's somebody that I know that's there. Or sometimes I go to conferences where I really don't know who else is going to show up. But over the last 3 or 5 or 6 years, I've met enough people that there's always going to be somebody that I know. And with the union, a big thing is solidarity and like brotherhood and sisterhood. So it doesn't matter if I've never met you. I can literally walk up to a guy across the room and be like, hey, brother, I don't have anybody to go to dinner with. Can I join you? Absolutely. Let's go for dinner, have a chat, shoot the shit, whatever. And that is a great feeling. Super weird in the beginning because it feels cult-like when you're like, hey, brother, hey, sister. But it's just, I don't know your name, but I can call you brother. But yeah, it is like a huge extended family. and I like it.
I just think that you have an awesome gift for making everyone else's adventure better too. Just for them going into your orbit, all of a sudden, like when you came to visit us, same on the motorcycle, all of a sudden you inspired us. Oh, we're gonna go for this ride, and next thing we're in Jasper.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen without Kristi Arbuckle.
It's true. And we picked up 2 strangers.
We did. I don't even remember what their names were. I know I have a picture of all of us that pops up on my backdrop at my work computer all the time.
Right.
I know we had like chops like Wolverine. I remember that part.
Yes.
Right.
And she was quite a bit older, but I don't remember what their names were or how we even met them.
I think we just met them at the gas station.
Just at the gas station in Lake Louise.
That could be.
And they asked us where we were going. We were like, "Oh, we'll go to Lake Louise. Can we come?" Oh, we got to Lake Louise.
I was freezing, and one of them gave me a sweater. Like, they don't know me, but they're like, well, we'll come with you, and here's some clothes so you're not so cold.
Yeah, and then we all had dinner and whatever and rode together the rest of the day. It was like, when does that happen? And you're not just terrified of some random people following you for the day.
Yeah.
You know what? That's not a bad superpower, Kristi Arbuckle, that you expand people's experience just by being you and just by being around them.
I just had an amazing idea. Arbuckle Adventures.
Ooh, dangerous.
Ooh, I want 10% of that.
Okay.
Arbuckle Adventures. I would totally book an Arbuckle adventure.
Because I always want to go do something weird and not stereotypical most of the time. So it was like when I was in New Orleans in the fall, it was like, I'm going to New Orleans. I'm going to eat all the New Orleans things. And I want to go see a gator in the swamp. I want to go on one of those giant fan boat things. And we made it happen. And then we came back, and the next day people were like, wait, you did what? How do I book one of these? So there was like a whole bunch of other people that went afterwards. It was like, yeah, it's because I did the cool thing.
But New Orleans has amazing food.
Oh, so good.
Did you get a tattoo while you were there?
Of course I did.
I got drunk enough that I almost came home with a fleur-de-lis tattoo in New Orleans, and it would have been worth it.
That was what mine was. So I got it with the Mardi Gras colors. But okay, so because I'm super weird, it started in Montreal, and I was like, what am I going to get from Montreal? Because they get tattooed quite often when we travel. Something either about where we are or the reason why I'm there. So I was like, no, I'm in Montreal. I feel like a fleur-de-lis is something super appropriate to get. So it's just a nice black and gray, and I put it on my right leg. And then I was like, well, now I'm in New Orleans. I'm going to get a matching one on the left leg, but they are probably 3 to 4 inches above my knee, and I call them my fleur-de-lis.
That's awesome. Cool. That is cool.
Yeah. So they match now, and probably are going to look weird when I wear shorts, and people are going to think I'm French, but whatever.
Oh, man. I love that. Kati's never been to New Orleans, but I told her she wouldn't like it that much.
It's cool, but it's hot and humid, and it smells bad.
Super.
I was unexpecting. Like, nobody ever said, oh, no, New Orleans stinks. Nobody ever said that.
I think that the best parts of New Orleans are not the touristy parts.
Yes.
Bourbon Street, garbage. But if you ask the locals where to go.
Yeah, like, we had to do it because we're in New Orleans. Of course, we're going to go get slushy alcoholic beverages on Bourbon Street and whatever. It was a cool experience. But when we were there, we found like these guys that drive little golf carts, and they actually work like for the city or whatever. So they just work on tips, and they're free. So the one guy had given us his card one night because he took us back to our hotel. So we called him a few nights later, and we're like, here's $40. Drive us around. Show us some cool stuff. So he took us like out of Bourbon, and we went to, I think it was Frenchman Street. And it's like another cool jazzy, whatever kind of cool district. And this is the oldest like pub or whatever in New Orleans. And this is the place that is from like NCIS New Orleans. The bar, the guy owns the bar. This is that bar and whatever. Showed us all kinds of stuff. The house where they filmed something from Interview with a Vampire with Kirsten Dunst when she was little. He took us to that house. It was like, this is the New Orleans tourist that nobody sees because we got our own little tour guide.
Crazy. And you saw gators. I didn't see gators.
Yeah, like we went on the swamp tour. They feed them marshmallows. So like, we'll take the little canals, whatever, in the swamp, and the guy will just stop the boat and turn it off. And he's yakking away about Bioi history and whatever. And you just look and you're in like a V. So you're at the crossroads and you just start looking around and these little V's in the water. And you're like, hey, dude, what's that? And he's, oh, the gators are coming. They know we got food. And I'm like, what? So they've been there often enough and fed them marshmallows that when they hear the boats, they come to the boat because they know they're getting snacks. So he has like this long stick and he puts a big marshmallow on the end and he literally like guides it up to the edge of the boat and part way up. Like it's more than halfway onto this boat. And like we're crapping our pants.
That's crazy.
Because this is a wild gator. And it's just, okay, yeah, I'm good. I got my video. You can put them back in the water.
Pick them up, Kristi. You want to.
Yeah, no. They were big.
Yeah, gators are scarier than crocodiles.
All of them are terrifying. I don't really want to pet one, but yeah, it was cool.
I was there in February around the Super Bowl, and it was hot. Like it was probably 28 degrees in February, hot and humid.
Yeah,
so
we
I can
were
only
like,
imagine in the summer.
Yeah, we were like end of September, and it was still like 30 plus. Walked outside, bleh, sweat, gross.
And then the tattoo. Were you drunk or sober for that?
Completely sober.
Really? See,
There is a few of us because, of course, it was a union trip. I had actually gone a few days earlier, like on my own time, and with my one girlfriend from Ottawa, and we did the touristy things, and we had planned on getting tattoos. So there was 4 of us that all went to get tattoos at the same time. We all got different things, mind you, but we found like the one guy that we liked and booked our appointment. And he was super cool and wanted to do it. So we all went and met there, and we all got tattooed. We were there.
Did they all get fleur-de-lis?
No, we all get something different.
Okay.
So it's whatever you want.
Nice.
But, yeah, mine are always something to do with where I am or why I'm there.
Yeah, I think that would be more memorable. I always ask
I'm
Kati what
like-
she would get.
Oh yeah, what would Kati get?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah,
For a New Orleans.
I can't get a tattoo because I can't commit to something. I'll just change my mind the next day and then I'll cry forever.
if it's something that's just for me, I tend to sit on it at least a year, and I'm like, do I still want it? Maybe I'll sit on it another year, or maybe it just goes away because it was fun at the time, and now it's whatever. But
Do you prefer a bigger tattoo, like a more epic thing, or do you a smaller one that happens to be more memorable on a tour, like when you're on a trip?
When I'm traveling, they tend to be smaller. So those ones are strictly for me. They're not like super showy. So they're always like upper thighs, like knees and up kind of thing. Like it's unless I'm in like a swimsuit or rocking some Daisy Duke booty shorts, which that ain't gonna happen. Nobody really ever sees them. So they are typically for me. I do have other tattoos that show. Those I don't mind being seen. You can ask me questions about them, whatever you want. Those are usually thought out a little bit more because I know that they will show day to day. I'm not going to write F you across my knuckles or something because that just doesn't give the right appearance. But my other ones, I'm fairly okay with those ones. But yeah, my travel ones, they're for me. They're a little more hidden. I don't mind if they're seen. You can ask me about them if you want. But they're not something that shows day to day.
How many tattoos do you have?
I think I was at about 23 the last time I counted.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's gonna change because I am actually undergoing tattoo removal on my back.
Oh, okay.
So I've had 2 on my back that I got when I was like 17 and I want to say 20. And I do like them, but they're quite old now and they're not as bright as they used to be. The details not there. They've spread, whatever. And it was like, do I want to get them done over again and freshened up, or do I just let them go? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. And so I've had 2 sessions now, and they're actually fading remarkably well. I don't know why this isn't more popular.
Oh, wow.
But
is it painful?
It does. It hurts so bad.
Does it hurt more than the tattoo?
Oh my God, so much worse.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So I understand why more people don't do this, because after that first one, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. But I was like, you know what? They gave me like a guarantee. They're like, if it's not gone in 6 sessions, anything after that is free. She did give me the option, like, do you want it gone or just faded enough to get a cover up? And I was like, well, let's try for gone and see what happens from there. If it only ends up faded enough to cover over, I'm fine with that too. So it's getting less painful as it goes on because, of course, the colors aren't as bright anymore because that little laser hits like the dark sections.
Okay.
So it's getting better. But yeah, like they're fading quite a lot. I was actually quite surprised.
Oh, well. I just took Alora to the tattoo convention here in Calgary because she's looking at becoming a tattoo artist.
Oh, that would be cool.
So I'm going to need you to volunteer your meat suit.
Nice.
That was the grossest way to phrase that, probably.
That was great.
Come on, Kristi. Be a good sport.
You know what? I have a friend that calls their hot tub people soup, and I have not been able to go into a hot tub since.
Oh,
Yeah, that's gross.
that's so bad.
Yeah, I did not appreciate that one. It was funny, but yeah, I haven't been able to look at a hot tub the same since.
You know what? I want to say though that your body is like your passport and you just get it stamped wherever you go, which is such a beautiful idea. I really love it. And if I was cool enough, I would totally copy you, but I'm not. But I think that it feels like it's just really aligned with who you are, just to go and travel and have these beautiful things placed on your. Is traveling a thing for you? What does it do for you?
It's twofold because it's like an entire battery refresh because it's the total break from your regular life, right? There's no power bill sitting at home, your rent payments not due, blah, 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 like getting the kids to the sporty things, whatever. None of that is there. It's completely what you want to do, when you want to go and do it. So it's just like the complete like checkout from daily life. Go do what you want to do, enjoy it, live the adventures and whatever. But then at the same time, most of my bigger travel has been union stuff. So at the same time, I'm getting to get together with the friends that I've made from however many other conferences ago. So that's like a huge battery refresh as well, to be able to go and do the experiences, but also now be with friends that are having the same things that I am. So we have all the common things meshed together. Like we live way different lives, but we have the common threads. So some of the women and men in my union have become some of my closest friends. And it's just like, yeah, I'm having a crap day and I want to burn the world to the ground. I call my girlfriend in Ottawa, or I send a group chat to a couple of friends across the country. And it's like, they know where I'm at and what's going on because they've been there. So it's nice to just have that background with the people at the same time.
That sounds amazing. You seem so happy.
I really am. Who knew I had to move to the middle of nowhere?
And I was going to say, when me and Kati were in Gillam, there were no cell phones. Yeah. So send your group chat with that.
Yeah, we have that now.
It was just pure misery when we lived there. I was scared of Sasquatch. I was terrified.
It was not misery. It was such a beautiful break from the family. We needed the distance. I loved the Northern Lights. The socials were fun. Like there was a lot of good stuff that happened in Gillam.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly more busy here than I ever was in Winnipeg, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, you do work a lot there, right? I'm assuming that you probably put in a good amount of overtime.
Yeah, we have our guaranteed overtime every day, but because not a lot of people want to come and live here, we are short-staffed, so there are a lot of available extra hours, to the point they've instituted a fatigue management policy where you can only work so many days in a row and then you have to take a certain number of days off. So that does help as well. So it's okay. Yeah, I'm actually forced to take time off. But then
I didn't have that when I was there.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, a day off. I'm a potato.
Right?
Don't leave the house. I was just like, no, I'm not going outside. I'm not peopling today. And that's it.
Well, I wore pajamas and work clothes. That was it when I lived there. Like, 80 days in a row. That was my record.
Yeah. I told a guy not that long ago, I was like, I'm terrified by how comfortable I am leaving the house in sweatpants up here. Because I would never do that in Winnipeg unless I was maybe just running to the grocery store quick. And now it's just like, whatevs, going out in my sweatpants and I'm rocking it. And I don't really care.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, guess what? It's time for the question. Kati's going to ask you the question.
All right.
I'm going to ask you the question that the last guest left for you, not knowing it was going to be you, but it's for you anyway.
Okay.
Okay. So the question is, do you believe in biohacking? And if so, what is your go-to hack?
Biohack? What the heck even is that?
It's like keeping yourself young. Things that you do to keep yourself from aging.
Ooh. With the amount of gray hair that's popped up in the last few years, I don't know that I'm doing that effectively. I call it glitter, for one. Nice. So it's not gray hair, it's glitter. Oh man, something I do to keep me young. I think I figure out what it is that actually makes me happy, and I make sure that I prioritize that.
That's awesome. That's actually a huge biohack.
Yeah, because I don't want to be miserable grumpy pants all the time. So my friends that live here, they run the dog rescue in town, or sorry, the animal rescue. We have more than just dogs. So I volunteer with them, and I'll spend, when we have animals there, I'll just come home from work, change my clothes, go there, grab a dog, and we'll go walk. And bonding with an animal that they're terrified because they're in care or whatever, they don't know you, to build a trusting bond with them so that they end up getting adopted out to somebody, that's a huge uplifter of your mood. Sad when they leave because you're going to miss them, and I cry every time. I can't help it. I'm a fool.
Just adopt them all. Kristi.
If I could, I would. Oh my God, I would have so many. But we don't have any animals in the pound right now. But my neighbor 2 doors down was just away for a week. So I cat sit for him and I go visit his kitty. Lady Jane is her name. She's an older cantankerous kitty, but she gives me nose boops and stuff and lets me pet her. Win.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think
so,
that's an amazing answer. I was not expecting it, and it was 10 times better than I thought
Joy
it'd
is a biohack? That's amazing.
yeah.
Keeping
Like
that
you
one.
always hear like the meme about, oh, tell your body that you're gonna smile, you'll automatically become happier. But then you get like that, like the forced smile. It doesn't actually work. But try and find something that makes you happy and just go do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
so what would you like to ask the next guest?
Oh man,
What would you like to know about the mystery guest?
mystery gifts.
And then you have to tune in to see what they say.
Okay, I'm gonna go with if you could have changed your life path at some point in time, what other direction would it have taken you from where you are now?
Oh.
That's a cool question. The crossroads.
Yeah, it'd be like you're picking up your university book and going, what do I want my major to be? Like, do you go this way or do you go that way?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm going to think about that too. Sometimes I do think
right?
about that, whether or
I
not
feel
I
like you
could.
already took that other path at one point.
I've taken a bunch of different paths, yeah.
Yeah,
But
True.
when we moved here, I had an opportunity with Manitoba Hydro International to go to Saudi Arabia for a year. And then just at the last minute, Kati said, I'm not digging this. And then I had to pull the ripcord out. They were not too happy with me, but everything worked out. Justin Trudeau screwed everything up. Probably would have got sent back anyway. So
Probably.
everything for a reason. Everything for a reason.
Exactly. The fates worked it out.
We wanted to thank you very much for coming on. And I can't wait to have you back on again. And I hope you don't say
Definitely.
no to me. And we do this
When
again.
have I ever said no to you?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't asked you anything too crazy. But,
I don't have a lot of off limits topics. You can ask me legit anything and I'll throw it out at you.
This was fun. I would say, what do you think, Kati? This was the joy episode.
100%. 100% joy and travel and adventure and just fucking doing it.
Yeah. That's how we roll these days.
Exactly, everybody. Just fucking do it. And
Yeah.
we'll see you on the next episode.